Let's start off with the disclosure. GAMDIAS provided this keyboard for my honest review, and they did not see the video before it went live. GAMDIAS have been selling computer parts and accessories for quite a while now. Their latest offering, the Hermes E3, an upcoming 60% keyboard. The E3 fits in what I would consider to be the budget tier of 60% mechanical keyboards with an MSRP of $50. And with all the options that are available these days at this price range, it's a bit difficult to recommend, at least in the United States market, but it's a fine keyboard overall. In this video, I'll go over my thoughts about the Hermes E3 and talk about the changes I think it would need to make to be more competitive. In the box, you'll find the keyboard itself, a 1.8mm USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, and a plastic keycap puller. I don't recommend you use this particular type of keycap puller as it can damage your keycaps. Get one of these wire ones instead. You can find them all over Amazon and eBay. The Hermes E3 comes in either black or white, with my unit being white. It has a plastic case all around, weighing around 550 grams. It has a high profile design, but you can still kind of see the switches and stabilizers on the bottom row. The USB-C cutout is on the left side of the keyboard, and it's a pretty flush cutout. There are 4 rubber feet on the bottom of the keyboard, and the case does create a typing angle. I'm not sure what the angle is, but if I had to guess, I would say around 7 to 8 degrees. It uses plate-mounted stabilizers, but you won't be able to remove and mod them since the switches are soldered onto the PCB. The E3 uses a tray mount system, so to take it apart, unscrew at the various points around the plate. The plate is some kind of metal that's pretty stiff. The font on this keyboard has that gamer aesthetic to it, which I don't really like. I much prefer a simple sans serif font, like the ones on the other keyboards by GAMDIAS. The sub-legends, which indicate the keys on the function layer, are printed on top of the keycaps. This makes the keyboard far too busy looking, especially with the thick strokes of the sub-legends. It would be better if the sub-legends used thinner strokes, or better yet, have them printed on the south side of the keycaps like how Ducky does it. My other issue with the sub-legends is that there are 2 function layers, but the sub-legends themselves don't tell you if they belong on the first function layer or on the second. The tilde, arrow keys, Windows key lock, which is what this game sub-legend is communicating, and the F keys are on the first layer, while these keys here, print screen, home, and etc. are on the second function layer. The RGB controls are also on the second layer, but the keys for these controls are not indicated anywhere on the keyboard. It took me some time to get used to navigating the function layers and memorizing the RGB controls. The stock keycaps are an OEM profile, and I'm assuming they're made with ABS plastic because that's what a lot of keyboards in this price range uses. They measure around 1mm and are double shot and shine through. Kind of. The main legends are double shot and shine through, but the sub legends are not. I'm not sure how they're created, but I don't think it's die subbed because I can feel a small bump on the sub legends. Lastly, the spacebar has the GAMDIAS logo on it, which I don't really like because I don't like having companies' logos on keycaps. And I'm going to refer back to Ducky again. I think it would be fine if the logo was on the side of the spacebar. The Hermes E3 has Outemu switches, with my unit being Outemu Reds. And I think Outemu switches are a fine choice. I would put them right in the middle between Gateron and Kale, with Gateron being the best. The switches are soldered onto the keyboard, so no hot swapping here. The switches are north facing to accommodate the shine through keycaps with the legend towards the top, but that means you'll run into issues with cherry profile keycaps because the keycaps will hit the switches preemptively, creating an unpleasant typing sound. I'm not expecting folks who buy this keyboard to buy aftermarket cherry profile sets because those tend to be more expensive than OEM sets, but if you are, I encourage you to buy a keyboard with south facing switches. This keyboard features RGB backlit keys, no underglow, but that's fine because it uses a solid plastic case. There are 19 effects and you can cycle through them with function 2 plus F9. Function 2 plus F10 will toggle the lights on and off, and you can reduce or increase the brightness with function 2 F11 and F12. There's no software support, so you won't be able to adjust the RGB settings, create macros, or anything like that. And for some reason, the E3 doesn't wake my computer from sleep. It's the only keyboard I have to have this issue, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Here's what the keyboard sounds like stock. At this current state of the Hermes E3, it's a bit hard to recommend at its MSRP of $50 for the US market. Let's take a look at the competitors so you can see what I mean. The DK61E has PBT double shot shine through keycaps, RGB backlit keys, hot swappable Gatoron optical switches, and software support. For 15 bucks more, you can get the Red Dragon K530, which offers hot swappable Outemu box switches, Bluetooth capabilities, RGB backlit keys, and software support. And if you don't mind weighing a bit on shipping, the Gamma K61 offers hot swappable sockets, double shot ABS keycaps, RGB underglow and backlit keys for all your RGB desires with its acrylic case, and software support for RGB controls and macros. So for a few dollars more, there are other keyboards that offers other useful features. To have the Hermes E3 be competitive at $50, at the very least, I would have loved to see software support for finer RGB controls and to create macros. It would be great if it supported basic key remapping, but that's a bit of a stretch since it's not a feature you see around this price point. I also would love to see side printed legends for a cleaner look on the keyboard, and my personal preference would be to ditch the gamery looking font in favor of a simple sans serif font. Lastly, the experience of having two different function layers but having the sub-legends themselves look the same is confusing. I think there should only be one function layer, or have the sub-legends for the function layers for 1 and 2 differ in some way. Overall, in the United States, if you only have $50 to spend and want a keyboard that will work great out of the box, then the Hermes E3 is a fine choice. But for $10 or $15 more, you can get a different keyboard that offers other features that you may want. However, if you're in the market outside the US and the E3 is priced competitively against other keyboards, using your best judgment because I can't speak for markets outside the US, then the E3 could be a great option. That's it for me today. Please like the video if you found it helpful and subscribe to stay updated on my future content. Until next time.